Hi, crafty people. This is Hannah, and I'm back for just another quick video. I did one earlier today, and I showed you a sympathy card and how I created the background for that card. And during the course of that video, I created another panel. And since I have to do 5 of these to finish off an order that I have, I decided, okay, I'll use the panel that I created during the video to make another sympathy card. So I'm going to move this. I don't need it anymore. So the components are very simple. And when we did the earlier video, I turned my card on the stencil in the landscape as opposed to portrait position because I wanted I wanted to make sure my flowers, which you could still look at them and see what direction they were going in, but I'm going to open my card this way instead of the normal, normally you go this way. I'm Jewish, so I was about to open a card like this because I've been doing Hebrew classes all day, but anyway. So we're going to open it this way. And so I thought, well, let me figure out how I'm going to do that. Now, I have this neat little die here that I really love. And I'm going to show you what I did with this. If you have a panel and you want to cut a decorative edge, and I really wish that they had this in more than one shape, but you put this in the middle and it will cut out a top and a bottom section, and then you will end up with well, let me turn that around, a panel that looks like this. Okay, and so what I did, I took a piece of, and I'll put this up closer to the camera, I put a piece of champagne vellum behind my panel. So there's and I just use wet glue to attach my panels to it. And so when it's on the card and you're looking down on the card, you will see those the little divide there with the peekaboo vellum. And then I have these pearls. I've been saving them like most crafters. I have things and I save them like I'm gonna save this and I don't want to use it, which is crazy because you need to use it on your cards. So I just used a little of this glue, and this is my favorite glue. It's Books by Hand. Let me turn it so you can see the name. It's Books by Hand pH neutral PVA glue, and this is a quality glue. It has the consistency of the Tombro mono glue, the one that's in the green and white little applicators, because that's actually a very good glue. It's just very expensive. But this 4-ounce container of the Books by Hand glue is like $8, and the Tombos are like maybe that big, and it's just very expensive. So this is more economical. It's a professional quality glue, and it's archival, and it's used to bind book pages together because you want your signatures to stick together. And that's when I first started using it, when I was doing bookmaking. So anyway, I used just and you just need a little of this, and I just made a little few little beads across there, and these pearls were joined together. I removed them from some piece of clothing that had these strings of pearls on it, and so I removed this, and they're still all connected. All right, so I took this panel, glued it to the vellum, attached my beads to make my card front. The other item that I'm going to use is fun foam. You know, the craft foam that kids use in school. I use that a lot of the time on panels like this instead of the foam tape. The double-sided tape I use for things like this for small, but even this is fun foam. I use it for my scraps. I take the little scraps of fun foam that I cut off from projects, and I'll use that to get to add dimension to my projects. And today I'm using red tape. I usually don't use this, but I have like 3 or 4 rolls of it, and I'm trying to use it up. But it's a good tape, and it has an aggressive hole. So I'm going to show you how I'm going to put this card together. Okay, I'll be right back. Okay, now since this is a part of my beginner series, I wanted to show you why you should never throw your scraps away. These sentiments that I'm going to use on this card came from this package, and I don't think that this company, My Sentiments Exactly, is still in business, because I've not been able to find any more product by them. But this is like one of my all-time favorite little stamp sets for condolence cards. And what I liked about it is that I can combine these sentiments to put on my cards. And what you want to do to save yourself money when you're purchasing sentiments, if you're not going to print them off on your printer, a lot of times I will print my own sentiments to put on my card. But if you're not, and you're going to use stamps, then you should look for stamps that you can interchange them, you can use them together. It will make your stamps and supplies go a lot longer. So for this card, I'm using this one right here that says "In Sympathy and Friendship," and I'm going to put that at the top. And here at the bottom, I'm going to put "Our hearts and prayers are with you at this time." And then I have a little dove here that I'm going to add, and I'm adding him because this is unbalanced. This end is okay, it's fine, because the die cut goes up there, and so that area doesn't look so naked. But this looks really unbalanced, and I'm going to die cut a few more of these little doves, maybe just 2, and attach to him, and then put a little fun foam behind him to elevate him. Now, these little scraps of paper that you have left over, you should save these. I have several bags, and what you can do is just organize your scraps by size. So whatever size it is. I took these sentiments and I just put them on one of those strips and loaded it into my stamp press, and I was good to go. So if you don't have a stamp press, this is a good one. It works very well. It's very inexpensive. It's like $24.99 on Amazon, and you may be able to get it cheaper other places. It was more expensive on HSN, but get you one of these that you can use. Okay, so now to put our card together, the first thing I'm going to do is attach my fun foam to the back of my panel here, because I was going to do 3 layers on this card, and then I decided that that might be overkill. So I'm going to only do 2, and I'm thinking that I'm going to dimension this level. Sometimes I'll do the decorative level, and lift that up. I think this time I'm going to let this be flat. And so that would mean that we're going to do our dimensioning here. This panel is 4 by 5 1/4. And so I'm going to cut my fun foam. And I buy my fun foam. This is made by Darice or Darice, however they pronounce their name. Darice, and it's a 9 by 12 sheet. And you can get the 9 by 12 sheet. These sheets that I have are 11 by 17, but you can get the 9 by 12 size. And I'm just going to cut a piece to fit on the back of here for dimensions. So I'm going to go and cut this, and I'll be right back. Okay, so when you cut your fun foam, you always want to make it about between 1/8 and 1/16. I think this one is really 1/16 of an inch smaller than the panel that you're going to attach it to. So, and then I just add double-sided tape. And I have double-sided sheets. I just didn't feel like cutting one. And this works for me because I don't add that many strips. I will add those strips, and I need to do that on both sides of the fun foam. So, and also when you're doing die cutting, you can die cut the fun foam to go behind your dies so that they match up. It will flatten out a little bit, but it will come back. You know, it springs back to its original size. Okay, so before I adhere this, what did I do? You ever in your studio and you have something in your hand and put it down? I had my pokey tool. Oh, here it is. Oh, I put it back in its home. Okay, so I'm going to remove this side. And just get this release tape off of here. And if I can figure out how to speed this up when I'm doing the editing, I will speed this section up, or maybe I won't. Depends. Okay, I don't like getting too ambitious when I'm doing that editing. The last time I became ambitious, I was unable to work. Now, I'm taking this wet glue, and I'm applying a little bit to the spaces in between my tape, and I'm applying. Now, I'm putting down too much, and that's because I cut too big a hole in my glue, so that's my bad. Putting the glue onto the tape gives you time to adjust things. You don't need this much because this is going to ooze out all over the place. There, that's good. I keep, because I use a lot of baby wipes, and I don't always, you know, I just do a wipe, and it's still good, and I don't want to throw away a perfectly good baby wipe. So I keep this bag with me, and I just put them in there, and it retains the moisture. And that's stretching my baby wipes, because baby wipes and things like that are at a premium, so I try to get as much use out of them as I can. Okay, so that is now my panel there, and I am going to attach it to my card front, and then we'll finish decorating our focal panel, and we'll attach it here. And I'm going to do the same process. Just pull this up, add some glue, and then stick it down. Okay, so we've got that down, and it's recessed enough so that you can't see it on the sides of the card, and that's what you want. So like I said, mine was 1/16 of an inch. You can do it 1/8 of an inch. You just don't want that craft foam sticking out. Now to decorate this, I've already attached the craft foam to the back of my sentiments. So I'm going to use this double-sided tape because it's thin. I ran out of my other tape that's 1/4 inch. Okay, well this isn't going to let me just tear it, so we'll have to cut it. Okay, and then I'm going to put a piece on the back. Oh, I already did that one. Okay, and I'm going to attach these to my focal panel. As a beginner, you sometimes develop a little timid feeling when it comes to experimenting and trying new things. And so that's why for this beginner series I decided that I'm not going to do just the basic cards and you stamp a little stamp here and fold it and there you go, you have card. Because when people start out with this hobby, it's because they've seen all these beautiful cards and so they want to make those, and it's not that complicated. So I figured I'll just do my regular cards and you can learn techniques as you go along. I didn't want to put these sentiments down flat on the card. I just have so many different little movements going on here. I didn't want these to be that static. I wanted them to have some dimension that would make them as interesting visually as the other components of this particular card. The only thing I'm having second thoughts about is the dove. I know that I need to have something there to balance this composition, but I'm questioning if the dove is the thing that I want to play that role in this project. So now if I can get my focal panel centered. I use these bobby pins, well not bobby pins, but pin curl clips to mock up my projects to see if I'm comfortable with them. And I have a little place over here where I put them so I can look at them from a distance. And you know, that's okay without anything, but it definitely needs something. And I think it's going to need something bigger than this dove. I don't think the dove is quite the answer, but even if I dimension him. But let me look and see. Excuse me for just a moment. It would be nice if he were a little bigger, but I think once I get him, I cut out a couple of more of him and put him on the foam tape. He's going to stand out a little more and he should be okay. So I'm going to pause while I die cut that and then I'll be back. Okay, so while we were gone, I played around with the little dove and I decided that he just wasn't going to work for me on this card. He was too small, and so I decided to look for an element like a flower that would bring to the project its own dimension. I don't have to do anything to it because of the layers. It's already an interesting item to go on the project. And I also got my sequins out, and I chose, these are the lighter lavender colored sequins, and looked for a place for them. And I'm going to show you how I apply glue to my sequins. I just put a little dot like that, and I place my sequins where I want them, and then I use my tweezers. I just drop it in the glue and put it down, and grab the next one, roll it around in the glue, position it, and then grab the next one, drag it through the glue, and then put it back in its position. I do the same thing with fine detail stencils, and these are really pretty on here. Trying to get it close to the camera so you can see. In real life, I probably need to adjust the color on here, but in real life, when you see the card, these sequins almost match the color of this card. And you'll see from the photo that I will take of this card later how well they blend. But I think from there you can see how well these blend together. Okay, I've already attached the flowers. So now I'm going to allow these to dry. And then we can just attach our panel, and we're done. We have another completed card. So I'm glad that I had to do that video. There were some ladies who wanted to know a little bit more about how I did the iron off embossing background. And I'm learning how to do those cards when you post your videos to YouTube. And so I'm going to put those cards in there, and they will refer you back to the original videos where I did the first sympathy card, or if there's another technique that I'm using that I've made a previous video showing how to do that. You can just click on it, I think, while you're in YouTube. Oh, come on. Now, while the books by hand glue will give you some oops time, it dries rather quickly, and it dries aggressively. So, you have a few minutes. Like I'm playing with this one, but I'm running out of time. There we go. And that's our card. It's done. And the only thing that I would probably do additionally to this card is put paper on the inside. And I happen to like green with purple. Now this is a condolence card, so I have to be careful, and I'll have to cut that. But if I show you this in a side view, it's the green works really well with the lavender. But like I said, because this is a condolence card, I'm probably just going to put white cardstock inside. And I do that because this panel is kind of heavy with the glue and everything, and I want the card to be a little more balanced. So putting the additional piece of cardstock inside here stabilizes the back of your card. So I mean, this is 110-pound paper, so it's pretty sturdy all on its own. So you can see how those layers are holding up. I'm going to have to put a little more glue right there where my panel's a little warped. But that's it. So that was just a real quick project, show you how to use your panels in different ways. I'm still going to do the pinwheel video. It's just that this provided me with a great opportunity to get another sympathy card done, because I just, I'm just not a sympathy card maker person. It's not in Judaism, we don't send sympathy cards. That's not how we make an expression of condolence when someone dies. But I have a lot of non-Jewish friends, and they often need cards for these kinds of occasions. So I'm getting better. I'm trying to get better at doing this. So thank you so much. I hope you'll try the iron off embossing technique. It will give you a beautiful shimmer. As I move this around, you can see the shimmer and sheen, and that is created by ironing the embossing powder off of your stencil image. Thank you so much for stopping by, and I look forward to talking to you next time.